Oh, great. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, now I have to think what I already told you. I told you that we are an Interact project. Yeah, you see here the one and only logo. I already told you about our partners. Here you have also their logos again, all a bit smaller than the EU logo. DecomTools. What are we doing? Well, probably all of you know, and also Thomas just said it, most of the wind turbines in North Sea are designed for a 20 to 25 years operational lifetime. After that time, the owners have to apply for a prolongation of the license, or they have to decommission. To be honest, from our point, there is very little knowledge, very little experience about decommissioning offshore. Onshore, there's a totally other story. Yeah, it's done for years now. The processes are more or less established. But offshore, there we have some very small examples. Think of two small wind farms that were decommissioned so far, and some single windmills. Yeah, at least little or no knowledge or experience offshore. There is no overall and systematic, sustainable approach what should happen to these offshore wind parks after the end of their life cycle. And this gap should be closed somehow by our project. So we have on one hand as target, as aims, the increase of the know-how and expertise within our North Sea area, but also we want to achieve some environmental Verbesserungen. We would make the environmental footprint better by 25%, and on the same hand we want to save costs. That's the big aim. I try to be a bit faster to speed up a bit. In the process, in the project we have, and that's also somehow similar to what you just heard from Thomas, and it's interesting because the consortia are quite different. Yeah, in the DecomBlades project you have the big players combined. In our project we have more some knowledge institutions, clustering organizations, and so on, and smaller companies. But the view is somehow the same. On the one hand, not surprising. On the other hand, it gives a good feeling that we aren't dead on a wrong way. We have 4 major perspectives: the economic one, the technical one, the logistical one, and of course the recycling one. That's why we are here today together. And I skipped this slide because it comes in a bit more detail, but still very rough in the next slide. So when we take a deeper look into the economic perspective, what is the market situation? Yeah, there will be a very much increasing and very fast increasing amount of offshore wind turbines to be decommissioned. And here only one number. Markus will tell you more about that later. By 2030, there will be roughly about 1,000 windmills to be decommissioned, and that's a lot. So on the same hand, that means the market is becoming more attractive. There is a lot of business opportunities if you start early enough that you are prepared when the boom starts. Yeah? But again, experience and also best practice solutions are needed for all stakeholders in the community. And what are the requirements that we found out in our project? Well, ports play a very central role, that's clear. Yeah, everything has to go somehow to ports. And if I just said here 2030, 1,000 windmills, and on a time scale of infrastructure investment, that's more or less tomorrow. So you have to start now, and the ports definitely do, at least the ports, not all ports, but the ports that are in our project, and also other ports. They are very dynamically thinking how to cope with that. On the other hand, for offshore decommissioning, you need vessels. But on the same hand, when we talk about these coming years, we will need vessels to decommission, but on the same hand, there will also be new wind farms planned and built. So maybe there is a concurrency. We have to ensure that we have enough vessels, and the decommissioning is not the same as the reaction of a wind farm. We put a lot of work for example, in the design of a new vessel type, which is very specialized for decommissioning. A bit more later on. Of course, recycling, that's why we are here, is very central. All this stuff has to go somewhere, and for a lot of materials like the steel or the concrete, the processes of recycling are well known. They have to scale up their business somehow, but the processes are more or less established. That's different for, what is the price for the blades, for example? Although the blades are not have not that big volume on a wind turbine, in the end, summing up over all windmills, there is a huge market for this, and we have to think about new ways of recycle it in a sustainable way, which is also payable. Last point here, qualification is needed. Yeah, I just said we have to make experiences, we have to build up best practice solutions, and we have to tell that to the guys who will do the work in the end, offshore in the field. So that was a very short look at the economic perspective. This is of course not the economic perspective again. That's because of the 2 beers yesterday evening. That should mean technical perspective. Only 2 examples. What are the outcomes of the project? Our partners in Aberdeen built, for example, up a decision support system. This is a tool with multi-criteria evaluation of the whole dismantling process with all the parts, and always looking at costs, at time, and at the environmental footprint, so the CO2 emissions. And this tool is also capable or maybe used already in the planning phase of new wind farms. Because it's also not new, at least I told it a lot of times, we should come also in this perspective of circular economy. We have to come to to common mindset that also the decommissioning, so the end of these machines, have to be in mind when they are planned, when they are constructed, when they are produced. And probably you know that better than me, but I think Siemens just came up with new blades that go a bit into this direction. So there is a lot happening at the moment. The second point I want to mention here is this DecomTools vessel that we did at our university. Of course, we didn't build it in real. That we have a huge budget, but not that huge. But we made planning of the construction, of the design. We made a lot of simulations, how stable it is in the water, and so on. And this is a vessel specialized for decommissioning. You see here these, in the back some constructions that are to cut already when operating in the field. Cut already parts in smaller parts that are good handleable within the ship, and you see also these that are these things are not Schornsteine. What is I don't know. That are flattener rotors. Yeah, to take also when decommissioning offshore wind farms, energy from the wind for powering the ship. A short look at the logistical perspective. To come to this vision to save costs and CO2, we said, okay, let's think about if there are different logistical concepts especially for decommissioning. When we made the first the first research we found some statements that were made by the owners of the wind parks. They also, at least in Germany, they have to make a statement when they apply for a license. They have to make a statement what will be after the end of lifetime, and there is always written, we will decommission the other way around, like we erected the wind park. Yeah, so that is somehow our baseline. Because nobody asked me, but you might have asked if when I say we want to save 20% cost and 25% CO2. Yeah, compared to what? If there are no experiences, no base cases, and yeah, maybe it's why we are all simulation guys or modeling guys, and we said, okay, if there is no base case, then we build our own base case, and exactly that is what we've done. We take this statement, we decommission the reverse way then we erect. That is our base case. But there are different logistical concepts or configurations that you can imagine. For example, on one hand you have to have these pendulum system, so ship always go back and forth from wind park to the next port or to suitable port. Or you can have this feeder system. You have a ship that is operating the decommissioning and is always you can put these things on these feeder ships that are then go and then also at a single windmill you have different strategies. Yeah, you can put the whole nacelle down and disassemble at the ship, or you have this part by part, so all three blades one after another, or this bunny ear configuration, and you first take one blade and then the two remaining. So we made simulation models for the whole supply chain from the offshore side to the hinterland, and with different logistical configurations, and we found different configurations that save definitely money or save CO2, but we have still the point that save both in one scenario is really hard. So that we won't reach with both on the same time these values, at least not with realistic assumptions. But also here, this DecomTool vessel will help definitely. Okay, apart from that, I said we are simulation guys, modeling guys. To give a bit more life to this, we developed 3 VR models. I will skip details. Also a bit for training concepts, yeah, that you can show people what they have to expect on the sea. And my last point is, the recycling perspective. You will hear a lot. I already said there are materials that are unproblematic, but on the one or the other hand have a high value, like for example also these magnets. Other things are complicated. We developed 3 concepts for recycling of blades, recycling, reuse. You all know that, shredding, and then you can do it in cement production or whatever. But you can also reuse these parts. I'm not sure if a company is here today that also will tell you something about that, for example, for playgrounds. Yeah, then, yeah, okay, cool. You can make Spielgeräte for Kinder, for children. Of course, in Germany they also already come up again, but that's chemical and maybe harmful for the children. Okay, we have to tell them that's not the case. That is very inert material, so not a problem. And of course we have this very, very interesting topic of pyrolysis, where we also will have a lot of more insight from Nina and another lady, when I remember you. Okay, great. And I'm really looking forward to what you have to tell us. This was a very short overview of the DecomTools project. If you want to know more, please check out our website, which is not written here. It's you will find it. Yeah, type in interact DecomTools, and because it's not simply decomtools.eu.
Can you just show it in the computer?
No, I won't touch this. Definitely not. Yeah? That's great.
Presentations and the link to the DecomTools.
I mean, maybe here is... here it is. Here, North Sea region EU /DecomTools. Okay. That was easy, yeah? Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
Stephan. Good presentation. Far better than me. You did well.
much. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.